You made it the Centaur World Season 2 breakdown. Anyone who hasn't seen the first Centaur World season or hasn't made it to the end of the season, aka the Rift Part 2, this is spoiler warning. So I recommend you go and watch the last episode if you haven't before you decide to come and watch this. But after you watch every other episode for context. The first scene is horses going and walking. I can't tell, but it might be where Picky Apples is picked up. I'll explain later. The second scene is basically Nowhere King with lots of his miniature minions. I'm guessing this is when Horse comes into the ring and sees the human world. She goes into battle with Nowhere King. I've seen this trailer before, but I just wanted to give a quick breakdown. Next up is them reuniting. If I had to guess, it would be this is when Rider and Horse reunite for the second season. This is probably before she decides to go in the battle of Nowhere King, or the aftermath of the Nowhere King battle. Another scene shows Wamawink, Zulius, Chad, and with Horse basically frozen. Glendale isn't seen in the scene for some reason. Basically, they use this as a style. And Draco is basically using Wawink's fur to go and sail to the ice place. This is probably where Glendale is probably kidnapped by some ice people and put here, so that's probably why Glendale's seen the scene. Maybe she is here and she's just hidden. Next up, we basically see Horse, Lamawink, Glendale, Dropboy, and Zulius getting picked up by a bunch of Birdtars, with little Birdtar Chad coming and riding with them, basically because he can fly. He's barely be able to see, but he can be seen. Basically from the Horse and Rider reunition to this, basically she was planning a sentence and how she wants Horse and her to be together and to go as fast as far as they want. Because they want to, not because they have to. I'm guessing this is with Water Baby. If I had to guess from this scene, this is basically also the aftermath. If the Rider and the Horse reunition was one. This is probably a part of the aftermath, and Centaur World is back and peaceful. You can see some tower there, but I don't know what it is. While Horse and her friends start singing a remix of the "You Made It to Centaur World" theme from the first episode, along with lots of characters. Some are pretty recognizable, like the kittens and the Moltars. Wait, those are Catars. But there are some that aren't recognizable, like the pretty much the ones that haven't appeared in the first season. I can't say exactly what they are. The next scene is Wamawink singing with lots of the Moltars. There's lots of very creative Moltars here. I don't think you can spot how all the Moltars. I meant discover see all the species of them. Horse isn't singing though, so there's probably something wrong. Along with the kittens dancing. And this giant's I don't know what that is. He looks like he comes from a classic cartoon. He starts running. No, I can see a hammer, I think. Yep, that was a hammer, but it only appeared for a split second. Next up, we see 3 Llama-Link clones. So they're probably the ones she shoots out of her hoof. Next is spotting a centaur coming out of an egg. It's pretty gross to everyone, except Dropboy. Water Baby's talking to What I assume is the general, along with Ryder in the background, smiling while she's talking about it. I'm guessing this is Water Baby explaining to the general their plan to defeat the Nowhere King and save the world from war. She explains she wants to get all the centaurs and put them near the rift. Next up, Horse is explaining their future allies. She gives some details like abs, big shoulders, or very strong muscles. First up, she is very tall and big, but her face is a lot smaller and it's not tough. It's more of just a weak thing. The second scene involves the muscles and the abs disappearing, and she's actually reduced height. They look mad at something, but I can't tell who they are at. Either Horse or the woman. I can't tell. Either way, they are not happy. Lots of other centaurs are seen along the way. One holding a sword, and lots of others too. Next up, one of the centaurs comes and asks if they're going to be more comfortable dug in this season. We can see lots of t-shirts for Chad and Zulius and Draft Boy. So what I'm guessing is that this is basically a fourth wall break. And yeah, this is happening. Right after the Tarasks, apparently he's wearing a comfortable Doug t-shirt. Right after he asks this, Comfortable Doug bursts from the wall and says that would be correct, meaning that we're going to see him again in this season. It is also explained that Ryder has a new horse named Becky Apples. I mentioned her before. She is surprised that I wouldn't say she's replaced. A bunch of other scenes with Ryder and Becky Apples are shown. She's wearing the same shirt, and this is the same background from... If you can see here, she's wearing the same dress, and it's the same background from when she basically mumbled, Becky Apples. They start singing a song to insult her. This background is different, and she's not wearing the dress, so I'm guessing this is before she saw her. Unless she didn't. There's also a pun in this. Becky, yeah, you like them apples. I think your apples suck. Except your draft heart is breaking the ice, so I'm guessing that was a bad thing. I mean, the ice was bad. Wobbling mentions she's getting a solar groove along the way of the theme. She asks the herd how many Glendale asks the herd of how many snowmen she can fit, before explaining the trick question, and she says all of them can be fit. And then Glendale tries to fit all the snowmen. Julius... Wants Auxilius to get along with something, as he is wearing a headset and a black shirt. Link is seen in the background, and she is wearing a rider costume. The woman from season 1 basically comes back. She is surprised by something, but it's probably the Nowhere King. That or the herd with pretty much every one of their allies. Then Julius flops over Chad, Giraftar, and Glendale. I'm guessing they started to dress as the Nowhere King, and Julius flipped them out. Either he was mad about something and flipped them, or he thought they were actually the Nowhere King and flipped them to try and defeat them, before realizing those were his friends. Julius explains that you can't change what's already happened, but you won't believe what happens next. Then Giraftar basically lifts Horse into the sun. She is still frozen, so I'm guessing this is supposed to heat her up so that way the ice can melt. And that sun, well, not completely looking like that. It looks like if Porky Minch basically turned into the sun and lost his face. And the only thing that was left is his arms and mouth. Then the herd starts singing that they'll go into the unknown. Into the unknown. And behind them you can actually see the rift. So I'm guessing this is before they go into battle with the Nowhere King. Then Something collapses. I'm guessing either the realm between the real realm and the centaur world basically either collapsed, or this is like in her mind about losing Ryder. He did this before in the episode Ride the Whale Tor Charmin, where she starts explaining that she's worrying she'll lose Ryder's identity. And she also and it basically shows Ryder disappearing along with the rest of the time. She tries to get to a portal, I assume, and then basically it crashes down. Either this is her emotionally feeling sad and she's making a song about it, or the entire realm is collapsing. The guy comes here. The guy from Johnny Teen Time Competition comes, and Zulise is holding a checkboard for some reason. This is probably an inspection. And then we see Chad pretty much young. He still has hair, and he actually has a sword. And what I assume is a black and white guy basically comes and gets him. And then the next Giraffe Boy is seen holding something, which I can't tell what it is. I can't tell if this is him young because of this angle, but it probably is. I'm guessing they're going to explore the rest of the Centaur's past. Horse gets tears in her eyes, probably about the tragic pasts of her friend. The Minotaurs go into battle with the Centaurs too. One may be seen throwing something at either the Nowhere King or Minotaur, and I can't tell what it is because of how fast it was. The Centaur starts singing again, but I already mentioned it. We also see Horse about to go and destroy the Nowhere King, I think. There's also a beast growling. It looks like if Devil Jin became an actual beast. As Horse is about to battle Nowhere, scenes come in. I'm guessing this is the tragic past. You could see someone trying to fight them but losing, and a man holding a baby the baby is crying. Then, Nowhere King spits his acid at a centaur and an actual human. I can't tell who those are. I can't tell what the thing he's spitting out either. The woman is seen holding the spear, and this time she's looking like a grown-up woman, more beautiful. We almost get to see a sequence of the Nowhere King getting back. See Horse singing for the last couple of minutes. Then the outro comes out. It is unknown if this is basically the one that's gonna come in there for the rest of the time, or there's actually gonna be a new one. Really, fact they should have just cut one frame of the Nowhere King during his defeat, like in the first season 1 trailer. Well, this is the end of the video. This video has lasted a while, and I don't want to record most of it, so I'm just going to say this. Goodbye, and if you haven't seen Centaurworld, I recommend you watch it. It's a good show. Well, I'm signing out now, and I'm about to upload it. See!